Welcome back to Celebrity Radio. It's Alex Belfield talking to some of the world's most powerful people, some of my favourite people, and a gorgeous lady as well. Hoppen Mbe is the lady who has turned her passion for design into a multi-billion-pound empire. How does that sound?
Sounds fab.
Are you all right?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Well, I'm delicious, but it must be even better being you, because to be able to take something that you'd love and potentially do for free and turn it into an empire is pretty smart, isn't it?
Well, I think, that's what we're sort of talking about today is a passion for what you do and being able to turn that into a business. And I really do bounce out of bed every day and I look forward to what I do. I love design. I love everything around design, but I also love business. So to roll the two into one is just heaven for me.
Here's the thing, though. You can't be taught passion or creativity or art, can you? That's something you were born with. You were then smart enough to turn that into a business. Are all business people creative, or can you just be the brains behind the creatives?
Well, I think there's different things. I think, yes, I'm a creator and I was born with that. My business skills were totally self-taught. I'm completely dyslexic numerically and can't spell, but I've got spell check and I had accountants. So if you've got a business brain, you can make that work. I think you're born with something when you become an entrepreneur. I see it in young people. There's just that something that makes them stand out from someone else. But it's hard work. It's determination, self-discipline. It's a passion to succeed, but you do it for yourself. But it needs a lot of energy and stamina to do that. www.btrrm2015.co.uk is the website. It's interesting, the real role model. I think that's sort of a dig at the role models that we seem to aspire to, which have big bums and large knockers. Well, I think the thing is that today it's very different 40 years on when I started my business. We didn't have all of these kind of shows on television and we were aspiring maybe to what I call sort of real entrepreneurs at that time that you just heard about or read about. And I think today we're so ensconced in watching all of this reality on television and reading about it in magazines. And I think that people are mixing up the true passionpreneurs for just becoming famous quickly and making money. I think to turn a business into something that really can be substantial, starting from very small and growing, I think you have to have a real passion for what you're doing and to have the right reasons for doing it.
Help me with women in 2015, especially young women, because it seems to be quite confused. On the one hand, we've got this, women can do anything, women should be paid as much as men, which of course they should be entitled to have any position they want. And then on the other hand, there's girls that want to be Kim Kardashian and just think that putting lipstick on and shaving off your sort of eyebrows and painting them back on is a way of earning a living. Are there enough good role models like yourself, or are there too many distractions of people who are one in a million? Because let's remember, there's only one Katie Price and Kim Kardashian.
I mean, first of all, I would just want to say that, both Katie Price and Kim Kardashian are actually very clever business people, whether you like them or not and what they stand for. They have actually created a business out of themselves. But in answer to your question, there are plenty of people that can be role models to these young girls today, or women in their mid-30s and 40s. I just think that you've got to be realistic and you've got to figure out what it is that that you can do that could turn into a business. You have to see what it is that you're doing that stands out from someone else, because unfortunately there is so much competition out there today that it's very hard to be seen. But I think with social media, radio, television, you've got a much better chance of being seen than you did in my time.
I was just with a dinner with a friend of mine who's an actor who is stunningly beautiful the other day, and he said to me, I'm going to LA because my agent told me that I'm one of the most beautiful people in London. I said, yeah, but the problem going to LA is there's a million of them. That's not good enough. And it's all relative, isn't it, talent?
It is all relative. And I just think that as I said, and I always bat on about it, if you're egotistical and you think too highly of yourself and you're not real about, it's got to be authentic. Authenticity is really important in actually getting somewhere in life. And I think if you're starting off and you want to become a passionpreneur and you want to have a chance at creating something, make it authentic. You can find out more by going to the website. Britain's top real role model is at www.btrrm2015.co.uk. When we look at your life, it is extraordinary. I mean, you mentioned earlier the dyslexia. You really have overcome some incredible challenges. What made you so tenacious to fight that and be as successful as you are? Again, do you think you were born with that, or is that family and support?
I think I was born with it, but I think the tragedy of my father dying when I was 16, I've thought about it because I'm asked the question a lot. I'm absolutely convinced that it was the biggest shock of my life, and I felt really vulnerable. And I just remember thinking, I'm never going to rely on anything ever again. I'm going to be self-sufficient, self-supportive, and I'm going to be really successful. And it's a drive. It's in me still today. You know, my motto is nothing's too big, but nothing's ever big enough. You know, nothing frightens me. And I think that a real true entrepreneur is not fearful of anything. It's like the more challenging, the more fantastic, the more kind of saliva you get in your mouth and you think, yes, I can do that challenge. Yes, I'm going to try and do it. But you do it for yourself. If you do it for someone else and you're waiting to have a pat on the back, it's a waste of time. This is something you do on your own. Being an entrepreneur, you know, I always say being a boss is actually quite a lonely business. You know, you're at the top. It's really you and it's your bubble, and you have to create the right environment in that bubble to get people to come in it with you to help support you. And when you're an entrepreneur, you'll realize that you need to bring people into your business that are better at doing the accounts or better at doing certain things that you're not good at. Find out what your passion is. Find out what it is that you're good at, and that's what you do, and that's how you'll create a good business.
How hard is it sacking someone for the first time? I've never actually had to do it. Is it as tough as they say?
Oh, it's horrible. It's awful. But you have to follow your gut. If something doesn't work and the person isn't working out, you have to, there's no nice way of getting rid of somebody and telling them that they no longer fit in your world. But, it happens. I haven't done it that often. I actually have to say I've been unbelievably lucky with the staff that I have. But I think that when you're at the top and you have a big business, you are the business. So how you are to people and how you look after people in your business will very much be a mirror image of the people that work for you.
Can enthusiasm make up for being a fart, Ed? I mean, if you're not very good, can being really into it sort of compensate for that?
No, because I think, eventually you're going to be seen for what you are. You need enthusiasm, 100%. I said earlier, sometimes on Dragon's Den, people would come on and give you a pitch and it'd be like, or you'd get someone coming on going, I've got this amazing idea and I'm determined and da-da-da-da, and it catches your attention and you think, okay, let me listen to this. So I think, your communication skills and who you are and the kind of extraordinary way that you network with people and talk to people. You don't want to be big-headed. You want to be authentic. You want to be honourable. You want to be humble. But at the same time, tenacity is a fantastic, contribution to any entrepreneur.
Help me with people who let you down and disappointment in business. Where did you find the strength to do that? Because a career is never 100% happy and simple, is it?
No, and I think you are let down every single day. If you were to sit down and think about your day and write down all the good things, they're going to outweigh the bad. But, I'm in a business where I constantly rely on people because I'm building houses all over the world for people and I'm, relying on them to deliver on time in the right format, in the perfect luxury, no mistakes. And sometimes stuff happens and you do feel let down. But the true trait of an entrepreneur is to look at it and go, fine, right, it's happened, move on. Who do we have that can rectify this? How can we get it delivered on time? And the one thing that I've learned is you've got to be calm when you talk to people. Never lose your cool. Don't shout at people. It won't get you anywhere. I always say in my business, if nobody's died, we don't have a problem. We'll sort it out.
I was just looking at the newspapers this morning, and again, this story about women's pay is coming up, and it is extraordinary to me. I'm not a guy. I spent 15 years at the BBC where they love to tick boxes, so they'll put somebody in who doesn't know what they're doing just because they look right or fill a certain box. I'm not into that. I think the best person should get the job. But at the same time, it is still astonishing to me that women are being paid in the same role less than a man. It is extraordinary, isn't it?
I do. I think gender equality is very important. I'm a great believer in that, but I do think women should be women and men should be men. You need both to have equal balance balance in the world. And women who do the same job as men should be paid the same. I mean, we have moved so far forward in my lifetime. I am absolutely horrified that we're still actually having this conversation. You get paid for, for what you're capable of doing, no matter whether you're a man or a woman. It shouldn't matter.
You are in far more boardrooms than I am. Is there still an issue about giving women jobs? And what is it? Is it that they have to have time off to raise children, which is unfortunate? Is it the fact that men don't want to be in a room with women because they want to go and play golf? Or is it just because men are just ultimately sexist in the boardroom?
I don't know, because I spend as little time in a boardroom as I possibly can. If you saw my boardroom at the HQ at Kelly Hoppen, it's fabulous. And, you'd never have that kind of feeling.
Bored is in the title, isn't it?
You took the words out of my mouth.
But just help me with that then. The guys that are running these companies, are they inherently sexist? That's what I'm asking.
Well, maybe. I don't know. Everybody's individual. I just think that there's a lot of stigma and there's a lot of history. And I think that it just depends on the individual as to how you're going. In all my life, if you think about my business, I spent a lot of my 40 years on a building site, which is very male orientated. I never felt like I shouldn't have been on that building site. It was a very real world that I was in, where I was giving design and people were building, and everybody's end result was we want it to be fantastic. I think when you go into a corporate business in a boardroom, yes, there is sometimes that feeling that maybe you're looked upon in a different way being a woman, and I think it's wrong. But you know what? Women are strong and women can overcome that, and women will win it in the end.
Well, I'm ginger and deeply unattractive. I find the same thing. People just don't like me. It's like being an outcast. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm ginger, and it's never held me back.
Well, you've got that Will and Grace thing going on. We'll end with this, because you are, well, if you don't mind me saying, gorgeous. And what's it like being attractive? That's a feeling I've never had.
I bet you have. Send me a picture of yourself.
No, I'm not. You're not allowed to send obscene material through the internet these days.
Oh, I don't know. Listen, do you know what? I don't really think about that. I get up in the morning, I go to the gym, have a workout for an hour and get ready to go to work. I always want to make myself look nice, and I buy far too many clothes. But, you kind of just get on and do it. I think if you think about those things too much, you can't really get on and do your job properly.
I went to the gym and applied to join the gym, and they said that they couldn't polish a turd. I don't know what that means, Kelly, but if you could help me with that. You can find out more about Britain's top real role model at www.btrrm2015.co.uk. Of course, the Dragons are back, and you're not on it this year. I'm sorry about that, because you were really good. You fitted into that show beautifully.
Thank you. No, I loved it. But workload was just too much for me. And, my passion really is design, and it's my 40th year this year, and I've got lots of big things happening, and I just couldn't commit to it. So sadly, I'm not on it, but it was brilliant. I did love it.
What I love about people like you, creatives, and people who sort of do the finishing touches, is when the guy comes in with more money than sense and says, no, I don't like it, do the whole thing again. Is that frustrating, or do you just think, well, all right, I'll charge you more money?
No, because luckily I would say 99% of what I do, I don't have that, because I'm good at finding out what people want, and it doesn't really matter how much money someone's got. It's just getting the job done right. So, I would never sort of look at it like that. Occasionally you've got people that can't decide what they want, and then it becomes frustrating, but that's my job, really.
Yeah, and just very finally, I've still got the ducks going up the wall, up the stairs. Is it time I took those down? Are they old-fashioned now?
As long as they're in a straight road, just don't have them going diagonal. It'll be far more cool.
No, mine are very Vera Duckworth, if you know what I mean. Great to talk to you. Kelly Hoppen is a huge star, designer, entrepreneur, and the lady who's inspiring all of these people to become real role models. Good for you. www.btrrm2015.co.uk is the website. Kelly, so lovely to talk to you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.